Hi, it's Nathan here, and today we're talking about supplier prequalification. So these are one of the core documents you'll need if you're going for ISO certification. It's not a document that's explicitly mentioned in the regulations, but it can help you meet your duty of care for ensuring the safety of workers, and that includes subcontractor workers. So the primary duty of care under the regulations is to ensure the safety of workers. It's not to ensure the safety of employees. And now a subcontractor's worker or a subcontractor's employee counts as one of your workers. And now, so there's this shared duty. I won't get into the duty too much and how that's applied, but it's essentially you need to do what you reasonably can to protect the subcontractor's workers as well. So for example, if you're a principal contractor on a building site and you've got some workers on the roof and one of them drops a brick down onto a subcontractor's head, even though he's not your employee, he is a worker that you've engaged on your site. So there's a shared duty there, and essentially you need to control what you can control. And I'll make a separate video on that. And then in terms of ISO certification, we're managing our health, safety, and environmental and quality impact. And because suppliers can have an impact on that, we need to manage them. So a supplier pre-qualification is basically just an onboarding document. If you're in construction, you would have seen these before. For large projects and large tenders, they can be pages and pages of questions and like document requests where they ask for all sorts of documentation. Ours, we try to keep fairly simple. I think it's about a page and a half. At its core, it's a document request where it says it's aimed primarily at subcontractors collecting their licenses, SWIMs, and insurances. And then it asks them a bunch of questions like, are they subject to any enforceable undertakings? Have they had any improvement notices or prohibition notices? Have they had any serious incidents or fatalities? Is all their plant and equipment maintained? Are their workers trained and competent? So to give you like a practical example of why that could be important, imagine you're a principal contractor, you're building a house, and you need a roofer. So you go to the Google and you find, Billy Bob's roofing, and Billy Bob comes out with his team and one of his workers falls off the roof and seriously injures himself. And then you find out, oh well, Billy Bob's worker didn't have a white card, he wasn't trained, he didn't have an induction. And then even worse, you find out that Billy Bob's got no insurance. So everyone's in trouble. Billy Bob's in trouble. You're in trouble. When it comes to the injured worker, they're probably going to go and see a lawyer, and the lawyer will have a few options. They can sue the subcontractor and they can sue you, or they can sue both. They'll probably sue both, but you're the one with the insurance. The subcontractor didn't have insurance. So, it's going to be a nightmare. So supplier pre-qualification is not only just a box ticking exercise for ISO certification, is a very important process, particularly in construction, for subcontractor management. It is like the first step in subcontractor management. You do the supplier pre-qualification, then add them to the approved supplier register, then do ongoing supplier evaluations and HSEQ inspections and SWIMS reviews, and to make sure that they're doing what they said they would do. So hope that helps. Just quickly on supplier pre-qualifications, the primary focus of those for most of our clients is for subcontractors, but it also applies to suppliers, companies that supply things like plant and equipment and materials. Obviously, they can have an impact on safety and environment and quality. For example, if you're buying PPE online from China and it doesn't meet Australian standards, then that's obviously going to affect the health and safety. Same thing with like materials. If you're buying materials that don't meet Australian standards, that's going to have an impact on the quality of your product. The supplier pre-qualification can also apply to those suppliers, and we want to make sure that they're supplying whatever the product or service that they're supplying meets Australian standards. It's going to contribute to a healthy and safe work environment and a high quality product. So hope that helps. See you next time.